Hi everyone, this is Arcadius and welcome back to Naval. Today we'll be reviewing the next British battleship, that being HMS Nelson. But first, it was patch day today, so let's take a look to see what is new. So we do have a new ship in game right now, that being Tiger C-20, or as I've renamed her, Southampton. There's already kind of a model bug with her right now. Her 76mm guns are not being modeled right now, but you can still play with her in game. I will do her own video later on after we finish up with the British battleships. But I have actually already taken her out into a game. I can see the stats here. She's not I guess she's what I expected pretty much. So yeah, if you want my really quick opinion on her, wait to buy her until the video. Yeah, we'll go over what she has and let me play a few more games with her before I make a final decision. But for right now, I'm not really impressed. It seems kind of normal. Also, there is apparently some kind of events going on. I have not done that yet. I plan to start that after today's video. But there are two other ships that you can win from this event. One being Trafalgar, which is a tier 8 British destroyer that there was absolutely no news about until today. It has those smaller guns. I think they're the 113s. Let me check. Yeah, 113s. You can take a look at the stats in the port. She looks very normal and actually kind of underpowered compared to ships like uh, Legion, which is also another tier 8, or Lightning or Loyal or whatever it's named, which is again also at tier 8. So I feel like I I haven't found a reason to get this ship besides just collector's purposes, but we'll see what happens. And then also, one that I really do want is the West Virginia came out. Now I do have to rename her, um, because I already have a West Virginia. That's the sister ship of my Colorado. So I'm gonna try and figure that out. She looks like she's such a beautiful ship. This is a pretty ship. She's not going to be very fast. She's still going to keep the same Colorado speed and armament, but her anti-aircraft defenses, just look at how many AA guns are on this ship. It's absolutely amazing. And that is reflected in her AA stat as well. If you can take a look here. Yeah, I foresee a fully spec'd AA ship when she comes out. So yeah, she looks to be pretty cool. I really want this ship. So we'll see what we can do to get her, and then we'll do our own video on her. But today's video is going to be on Nelson. Or as I have the sister ship, I've renamed her Jervis. But let's see what we have. She's going to be almost identical to Rodney, not only because they're sister ships, but because they have pretty similar gameplay as well. Alright, so we have 64,280 health. We have 28% torpedo resistance, maximum armor thickness of 16 inches. The belt is only, what is that, 14? And then on the turret faces and barbettes, it looks like is the heaviest armor. This ship is going to be a citadel at broadside, and she also is susceptible to 16-inch guns straight through the nose. That is the major weakness, or at least one of the major ones, of this ship, as you cannot bow tank a ship that has 16-inch guns. If it has 15 or below, you can bounce them relatively easily. Now, if you still give it a little bit of side, they're still going to do damage, but you won't have that overmatching capability. That being said, she has said 16-inch guns, so she can easily defeat herself when she comes across herself in battle. The guns themselves are pretty good. You do not have high explosive. You have the long fuse armor piercing, which you don't really need though, because there's nothing at this tier that can bounce 16-inch shells from the nose. So I just stick with armor piercing most of the time. Extremely accurate. I even have the accuracy module equipped as well, because just for full accuracy, They have two ways to play the ship. One, which is not recommended, which is just a bow tank and use your front guns. Uh, and then the second is to be mobile, kind of like how I was with Rodney in her video. I prefer to be mobile, so that's how I'll be. But you can definitely bounce tank if you need to. Just remember your armor does not stand up against 16-inch caliber shells. Main guns shoot out to 18.8 kilometers. Secondaries go out to 4.5. Secondaries, you have a couple smaller guns here. You have your trip on three double 6-inch on each side, and then you have a couple more here. She's not bad as a secondary ship, honestly. She does pretty good against destroyers and other cruisers, light cruisers particularly. But she can get some decent damage. Not a full secondary spec ship though. And your speed is 24 knots, so pretty slow. But it's whatever. The main difference between Rodney and Nelson is that Rodney trades in a lot of her anti-aircraft defense to gain access to torpedoes, I guess. Where Nelson does not get torpedoes, but has pretty decent AA defense, especially at close range. I mean, it's not going to save you. You're at tier 7, so you're going up against Hiryus and Rangers and Aramanche and Graf Zeppelins. There's a number of ways any one of those carriers can take you out, and you don't have the speed or maneuverability to really do anything about it. But at least you have a better chance at knocking some aircraft down. So yeah, she's not bad in that regards. Not having well, the torpedoes are somewhat useful on Rodney if you're in like really close situations, but in just general combat, I'd rather have Nelson because of that added AA bonus. You're not always going to need torpedoes, but you will probably need AA more than torpedoes. That doesn't mean Rodney's a bad ship, she's one of my favorites, but Nelson's still pretty good as well. So let's take her into a game and see what we can do. Alright, here ourselves a game. Quite a few battleships, 2 cruisers, and 1 destroyer. No carrier. So this is actually going to be a pretty good game. A lot of damage to be got. So we have Nelson, Leon, Nagato, another Leon, a Rodney, and an Andre Doria. Well, the Nelsons, the Rodney, and the Nagato all have 16-inch guns. Leon has 13.5, Andre Doria has 13, so I'm safe from bow penetrations from those two. But there's still quite a few ships that can damage me. Also, you're best to use that medium to long range. You have to use your accuracy to your advantage, and also you don't have those backup torpedoes like Rodney has, so you don't really have any kind of reason to go any closer than that. I'm making our way this way, trying to get past this Leon. Your guns rotate pretty fast as well. Like I said, I have her focus for accuracy, not gun rotation, so this is pretty much base rotation. And it doesn't look like I'm gonna get across her bow before she gets by me, so we're gonna let her go by here. Oh, she decided to turn into me instead, so that's always nice. Alright, so let's see what we can do today. Quite a few battleships, not a lot of anything else. So let's see if we can take out any of these smaller ships really quickly. Specifically the Zagano, because that's a lot of torpedoes. And look at the accuracy you can get with this ship. It's so amazing. So that first salvo did give enough lead. Now she's starting to maneuver. So let's see if we can find something else. Like this Leon. She might be bow-wind, but 16-inch guns don't care. You can just see the accuracy. Like, look at the shell grouping you have. 4 shatters and 2 ricochets. Alright, interesting. I guess we can try and delete this Miyoko instead then, while we get closer. Maneuver so we can avoid any torps that Leningrad just sent out. And blink through the nose. Focus secondaries on her. We'll be shot at by a Leon. Oh no, we got secondary kill. Oh, what else is in front of us here? There's that Leon again. And the Miyoko, which I have the 3rd turret ready for. If I can switch to the right ship, come on, let's go game. Slowly spinning, and only 2 times. That was kind of disappointing, actually. There we go, Citadel. That's what I was looking for. Alright, we don't need a fire. Now I'm kind of giving a lot of broadside to these targets, but like I said, it doesn't really matter what angle you give. You can still be citadeled relatively easily at no matter what angle. I'm just trying to get out of secondary range so I don't get set on fire. Waiting for my turrets to turn. Let's see if we can work on this Nagata here. This looks like a good ship. Yep, 36,000 damage. I'll take that. I do have health buffs and speed buffs applied as well. I didn't mention that at the beginning. So that is why I have more health, and I'm not a measly 24 knots. Can actually almost get up to 26. I mean, that's not a real difference, mind you, but still. Triple Citadel for a sinking. I'm going to cap the base here because why not? I guess we can wait for this Nelson to come out and give you a good example of what her armor is going to be like. We're actually losing this game too, that's fine. Alright, so fully broadside in Nelson. You can still get major chunks. I was actually kind of expecting a Citadel hit there. Alright, so we almost capped the base. We're going to shoot up this Rodney here. Maybe we get some Citadels on her. There we go. Yep, that's a lot better. And now we're going to have to head back south and start turning our guns to the left side here. Double Citadel on Rodney. So yeah, Nelson and Rodney are literally just going to be almost exactly the same almost all the time. The only real difference you'll see is when you're coming under air attack or when you think you might want to use torpedoes. I mean, it's really up to you. Rodney is a pretty good ship. However, if you don't like Nelson at all or don't particularly are good in her, I would hesitate to buy her because it's almost exactly the same. Alright, so now this Leon's at ground. Pretty strong angle, but we can go through that angle without a problem. Let's pop a heal. And now I could technically battle tank because the 2 battleships that are left do not have guns big enough to go through my bow armor. Alright, so I'm going to switch my focus onto the Andre Doria because I feel like between my meager secondaries and this other Rodney, you can actually take out the Leon without me having to use my main guns. And then, yeah, getting some good battle penetrations on this Andre Doria. As you saw, those 6 shells just went right through the nose with not a problem. Yep, right through the nose. The ship is almost unstoppable when you're trying to bow tanker. You can't bow in against this ship at all. Alright, so let's see how we did. We had a 302,000 damage, 4 ships sunk, 107 shell hits, 1 aircraft shot down, 9 citadel hits, 1 capped base, 74 secondary hits for 8,000 base XP. 287,000 came from the just 16-inch armor piercing shells. Secondary battery did 15,000 damage as well. And mind you, this was primarily a battleship game, so that was a lot of damage just on battleships. So this ship is actually really good. Like I said, she has an okay secondary battery. You're going to get damage, but just don't focus on that. Her AA is not too bad. Not the strongest, but not terrible. Actually, I think Nelson has one of like the top 3 battleship AAs at this tier. She can get quite a few planes if you know how to use her right. Yeah, so just really accurate, but you have to keep in mind that you just don't have the armor to stand up to any other battleship, pretty much. That, well, at least has 16-inch guns. So Nelsons, Colorados, Nagatos, all those will go right through your nose. But if you know how to do that or get around that, you should have no problem having a great time with the ship. So that will wrap up today's video. Thank you for watching. Tomorrow we're going to be going over King George V, which is very similar to Prince of Wales and also Duke of York. But we'll go over King George V tomorrow. So again, thank you for watching and take care.